Good evening, welcome to the Selectmen's Meeting for December 4th, 2018. Could I get a roll call, please?
Cindy King is present.
Wayne Miller present.
And Sue Lucio is present. Ask you to all join me.
Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to announce that the meeting is being tape recorded. Chairman's additions or deletions. We have an addition to approve or sign a letter of support for the Council on Aging that just came into us to the office yesterday, I guess. And 321, discussion setting a new date for the special town meeting and approval of the warrant. 1.5, public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak? Yes?
My name is Rick Fowler. I live on Old Turnpike Road. I've been waiting very patiently for Comcast. It's been 3 years since you signed the contract, and I still don't have cable. I'd like to know what's going on.
As a matter of fact, we got some correspondence from the cable committee just a couple weeks ago, last week. We have hired a new attorney because nothing was happening, and it's one of our goals too. Suffice it to say, we're working on it again, anew. And there was something as well about wasn't there a waiting period too that we
There had
weren't
been
aware of?
Correct, a 2-year waiting period before the work could be undertaken for the extension. Since your meeting last week, Kate Federoff from Mead, Tallerman, and Costa has taken the file. She has all of the work that had been done to date, and she's going to engage on getting the extension piece done before she works on creating the corporate entity, just to make certain that that takes the first focus.
Okay. Working on it. Anew.
I've been waiting.
I understand. I understand.
I have DirecTV now, and if it rains heavy, I lose my signal. If it snows heavy, I lose my signal. If it's too windy, the dish moves and I lose my signal. And it's very aggravating.
I hear you. Hopefully we'll have some news shortly,
All right.
okay? I would say stay tuned, but that's difficult.
Yeah. I can't even watch these meetings.
I know.
They're
I
on
know.
YouTube. Not live, but they're on YouTube.
Well, internet's an issue then, right?
Yes. It's terrible.
It's on our list of goals. And I like to achieve goals. So, sorry about that. Anybody else? Yes.
John Page, 8 Smith Street. I know that you're going to be talking later about, I guess we have to move the date of the special town meeting. Has there ever been any thought perhaps to having it a little bit earlier in the fall rather than in the midst of the holiday season? I mean, both weather-wise and logistically, that might be something to give some thought to.
Well, as a matter of fact, we used to try to have it in early November, I think is about the earliest we ever did it. But the real reason is we're waiting for free cash to be certified, because that's the meeting where typically there's some additional expenditures that get voted on. And we are going to be talking about why we need to move it again. But that, we could do all kinds of non-money articles, but nothing that would require free cash. Okay.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Sure.
Can anything be done about Unitil stripping the streets of trees? they're going way beyond what they need to cut. This is drastic cutting. They're changing the looks of Townsend. Can anything be done about it?
I for one, totally agree with you.
All we see is just ugly telephone poles now.
We-
They're all twisted and leaning, and it doesn't do the town any good.
We had Unitil come in. I mean, yeah, go ahead. I don't like
You
the
just hit a hot
internet.
button with Chairwoman Lucio. She was making a complaint about the work that was going on down in Timberley, and
And you haven't even heard me on Main Street yet, so.
well, I heard Wayne,
I think it's great. Oh,
the concern about the
I'm happy.
the bike path being hidden is no longer a concern in that particular neck. But, so the board did have Unitil in, they presented their plan that had been approved by the state. The majority of the work that we were specifically talking about was on DCR land, state land, and they had received the approval from the state for the cutting. So I don't think that there was any resolution that was going to satisfy your concerns that night. So I'm not certain they're going to satisfy your concerns. There is a different view held by Selectwoman King, which is that, and she can speak to herself, but with the issue you have around safety of and security of the power system, the distribution system, people want to know that when we have a winter storm, their power is going to stay on, but they don't want the trees that are potentially going to damage the system taken down. So Unitil expressed that they feel caught in the middle of that because they get hammered if a tree falls and takes the power out, but then they also get kicked if they're taking the trees down. So they're trying to strike that balance.
But at the same token, on that stretch on Main Street, what they were working on last week and this week, they've got to be back 50 feet, and there are still trees that could fall and hit the lines. I mean, to me, it's just, they're going way beyond what they need to cut. It's an eyesore, I think.
We could talk about it again at the next meeting.
Why don't we wait until the power goes out?
Well, I don't want to talk about it now. I appreciate you bringing it up, and it
As
is.
a matter of fact, we're just about at the anniversary of the ice storm. This is the anniversary of the
Yeah,
ice
that
storm.
happened how many years ago?
10?
Really, 10 years ago?
This is the
So-
10th
10 next
anniversary.
week.
We should
So-
celebrate
So,
with
from
another
my,
ice storm.
from my perspective, something that happens once every 10 years, which is a catastrophic kind of event like that, really, I don't think that means that everybody's got to still be panicking about everything. If it's every 10 years, it might as well be every 100 as far as I'm concerned. And losing power is part of living in New England, so I'm more concerned about our environment, and I'm very concerned about how our community looks when you're riding through here, and I think it looks decimated. I think it looks like we're trying to be Billerica with this great big road that has nothing on the sides of it. And that's not where I moved to, so I have a problem with it. Anyway, thank you.
If it keeps getting put off, there won't be any trees left to.
I understand. I was annoyed that they were cutting down trees very close, I thought, to our water company as well. And supposedly, the state gives them the right to cut things down 10 feet from the road.
But this is more than.
I know it is. I know it is. I would suggest that whoever is opposed to what they're doing, give Unitil a call and express your concerns, and anybody out there who feels the same way should do so. Squeaky wheel gets the grease with big companies. Okay. And we are at 6, well, we're late, but appointments and hearings, 6:05 PM, public hearing regarding the FY19 tax levy. How do we open it? We just open it. I'd like to open the public hearing.
You should have your checklist there, right? Yeah.
Yes, has everybody signed in?
I believe so.
Okay. And read the legal notice. Wayne, would you like to do that?
Where's that?
Right behind the checklist.
This one? Oh, I'm sorry. Legal notice, Town of Townsend, public hearing. The Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, December 4th, 2018 at 6:05 PM in the Selectmen's Chambers, 272 Main Street, Townsend, Massachusetts, for the purpose of determining the percentages of local tax levy to be borne by each class property for the fiscal year 2019. This hearing is in compliance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 56. Interested taxpayers may present verbal or written comments prior to the hearing to the Townsend Board of Selectmen, Zulizio, Cindy King, Wing Miller, to be published in the November 16th and 30th edition of the Neshoba Valley Voice.
And thank you, Wayne. And I am assuming that that was published as called for. Thank you. Ask assessors, all one of them.
Well, my board member that was supposed to be here had a family emergency, so she couldn't make it. Well, as we know, in Townsend, the large base of our taxes are residential, about 92%, so the other 8% is commercial, residential, commercial, industrial, and personal property. So for a town our size, with the way our tax base is, it doesn't make any sense to have a split rate. Like if, for instance, if we had one rate at $19.33 and we wanted to lower the residential by $1, we'd have to put the commercial up over $30. So it doesn't make any sense. So the Board of Assessors would recommend that you adopt a residential factor of 1, so that all classes would be taxed the same.
Anybody have anything to say? Any comments on that?
Nope.
I'm okay. Cindy?
No.
So having not heard any objections, I'd like a motion, please.
I move the board adopt a minimum residential factor of 1 as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, we will close the public hearing.
Can you sign that LA5 for me, please?
I do have a question, but you want to just sign right where it says like across?
Yeah, that's fine, any place on there,
I'm kind of put the, you see
Just
the
that one?
chief.
because I'll scan it in and send it in through the gateway.
It says first selectman or chief, like, or something like that. You should just sign it across. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Dick.
Three 3.1, consideration of designating the town website as the official meeting posting location. I'd asked for this to be on the agenda because I know the Secretary of State's office has said that the selectmen can designate that the website be the official place. That doesn't mean it wouldn't be other places as well. But if there's something that I've been asked about a lot, it's this. I mean, everybody says, why isn't the stuff posted on the website? And I think for some boards, like our board, the agendas are usually posted, but other boards, not necessarily. And I'd just like to know, have you got a way to
You do it, we'll work it
administer
out.
that?
You make the vote, we'll work it out.
Well, I don't want to make a vote that's effective like tomorrow and doesn't give you guys time to do what you need to do.
Well, it wouldn't be effective tomorrow because I'd have to notify the state and they have to approve it. So
Okay.
I wouldn't think it would happen until after the first of the year.
And is that enough time for you guys to figure out
I just have to.
how to do
let
it
Kathy
and how
get
to
over being-
train people
let
and?
Kathy get over being angry with me, and first of the year we get that done, right?
Why am I angry?
Because you have to post them online now instead of,
Well,
Right,
but I'm
because it
not,
is more of a burden to us.
but I don't think it's necessarily you that needs to post it.
Yes, it is, by law.
You still have to.
Because I have to
Okay.
stamp it in time, date and time. So they'd send it to me, I have to print it out, stamp it, scan it in, and upload it.
Okay,
And I plan to do that only once a day and do it all at the same time because it makes no sense. We might get 7 agendas in a day.
mm-hmm.
So to stop and do it.
Oh, no, I understand,
So I need it, probably would like it by noon time,
2 days before.
48 hours before, so it'd be more like, and that's kind of my policy anyways, when they email it to me, because they can email it at noon, I might not get it till 2.
Right,
So, and that's happened many times. So,
okay.
yeah, I'm not a fan, I want you to know, just so you're aware, because I think you could run into some issues with it also.
Personally, I think, I mean, that's where I get all my information.
Online?
I don't have time to come down here and look at a post to see if there's a meeting necessarily, and I'm sure that most of the towns are the same.
Right now, if you want to see what's, the meetings are for this week, you have to get in your car and drive down and look at this bulletin board out here, because it's the only one.
Yeah.
If we, I've always been an advocate to getting it on, getting it online as the primary, but we've had to be able to designate, Kathy has to be on board with this in order to be able to do that. We don't have authority over the town clerk, we might be able to set a policy. But
Right.
no, we
I
do
would
have,
have
we can't set a policy, but I don't want to see us in defense of, I'd like to do this like, make it effective right now, but I know we can't. But if we were, I just hate to see, if we drop the ball, then we failed in posting and.
Well, we can still leave the board as the primary.
Well, no,
there's
there's
one
no,
posting.
Okay.
No, you have to designate one place according to
One
the
thing has to,
secretary's office.
the bulletin board could still be things could still be posted anywhere in town and posted on bulletin boards that we have to have a designated, the official bulletin board on our website for posting of everything.
It would be.
Not, I can't find it on the website. It should everything that needs to be posted should be posted in one particular place, right?
I don't know how that works.
generally the front calendar, the front page calendar.
So it would go on the calendar.
Each date, you click on the date,
Okay.
and it's going to pull up all the posted meeting agendas for those days.
Okay, so, and that's okay to post it there? I don't have to post it under agendas and
I've seen it,
minutes?
anytime I've ever been looking on someone's site for things,
in
it's off the calendar, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the
So-
easiest place for people to see it on the homepage.
So the
Well, it's the
key,
easiest place to post to as far as I'm concerned.
so the key is, the Board of Selectmen, it's not a policy, but the Board of Selectmen can say, that's going to be our primary, and that's what I'm asking for, is for the board to vote on that, okay? Administratively, I don't have a problem with, I don't want to cause a problem in the middle. I mean, because you need to communicate to all of the other boards too. So can we vote to give notice that 1 month from now, folks will give it to you, but the primary place for it to go up would be on the board, pending approval from the secretary's office?
It doesn't really affect any of the boards, because they have to
It's the same for everyone anyway.
They have to give it to me no matter what.
But I thought you said the time was a little earlier, that you'd want them to
They
get it.
already, if they
already
email
know.
it to me, I've already made that policy.
Oh,
And sent
okay.
it out,
Oh,
that I
all
want
right.
it by noon time, otherwise there's no guarantees you're gonna be able to have a meeting.
Okay, all right.
So, because we've had that happen before, they send it and I don't get it till the next morning because of whatever. It's the internet, who knows,
Yeah.
It's not easy to roll up that piece of paper
Well,
and send it through the wire,
But I think that what people don't think about too is you're not necessarily hanging in front of your computer all afternoon,
right.
waiting for the next email to come in.
Right.
So, you know, I
That's not
mean,
my primary job.
well, this is what I was saying, so people have to be realistic about that.
Right.
Even if the email went right to your email,
Yeah.
you have other things you're doing too, so you can't be checking it every minute.
Right.
So, unless we wanted to hire somebody to do nothing but look at emails, which doesn't sound like it would make sense to do. So, I'm just wondering if the board would, if anybody wants to make a motion.
I would, I move that the board designate the calendar on the town website to be the posting place for, the official posting place pending approval by the Secretary of State.
Second.
I would ask that it not say the calendar, because there may be another solution that could be worked out on the website at another point in time. So,
I'll amend it and remove the calendar and
okay,
designate a spot on the website.
okay.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
No, I think it's good to try.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
3.2, discussion regarding finance team representative. Jim?
Yes, Madam Chair, you and I discussed this at the end of the meeting last week. For the last couple of years, there's been a member of the Select Board that's been designated by the board to serve on, what have we called it, Carolyn? It's been
It's your finance team, it's the TA's finance team is
But
the way
it-
we always,
Yeah, it hasn't even been the full finance team. It's been kind of a, you did it.
Yeah.
It was me, you, and a member of the finance committee. that we-
no, it's the accountant,
The accountant and the treasurer's
the
office.
treasurer, you and,
Just
And the
you and
assessor's
Dawn.
office. Vicki was part of that too.
Yeah.
Carolyn remembers.
yeah, and
So it's
assessor.
two separate things, I think. There is the town administrator's finance team, and the selectmen aren't involved in that, and they meet and just go over stuff. But the revenue projections is what the
Yeah.
special committee is, and there's always a selectman on that.
Okay, when this first started, I was on the board. You know, it was when Andy was still here. And it was just a team that the TA puts together to talk about projections, especially, you know, revenue and especially revenue projections. But as far as like budgetary stuff, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah. I think some
So
of
the
that,
only reason you'd be talking about revenue projections is to talk about the budget.
Well, no, that's
no,
not what I
that's just the
mean.
lead up to it.
But that's part of,
Right, but
you're
the
not
lead
gonna have
up-
a,
For that segment of the budget, okay? That's what I'm saying, it wasn't for spending stuff.
Right. I think what makes it interesting this year, or probably causes me pause, is we've got the revenue projection policy and model in place now, which it's really very few inputs that are going to change from year to year on the revenue projection sheets until you get deeper in the year and you have actuals. So for instance, right now, Vicki's gone, we have the actual new growth that's been certified by the state. So we're able to take that cell on the revenue sheet, plug the new growth in, and it's going to run out over the next 5 years based on the percentages that we've got made into the formulas, which again comes from best practice from Collins Center. So I don't want to have a committee that's not going to have a lot to do, because we have enough committees that get together and,
No, it's not really a committee, though. See, I think it's obviously started
What would they
before the
do?
Collins thing. Well, that's what I'm trying
that's what we're trying to figure out.
get at,
Yeah.
If we need it
okay?
or not.
we can look at an Excel sheet.
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
formulas that go in it. Right?
What I'm trying to get to is, we always had a finance team. Do we still need a finance team? What did the finance team do? Okay? If you think that the Collins system is all that we need and it doesn't take any further discussion,
I don't want to have it be that simple either. There are going to be times where members of the finance team, on the staff level are going to sit down. I'm going to talk to Vicki. She and I talked, she gave me the certified.
And that
growth
has
model.
always been, included in that discussion, has always been one member of the board.
And I guess that's the thing, is I haven't done it in a designated period of time where we all sit and say, okay, let's do this piece, and this piece. As that information becomes available, I meet with the assessor and we plug it in. When the
Okay,
tax rate is certified.
so you're saying that there isn't really a meeting as much as there is, you receive inputs and you put it into the system?
Into the existing model.
Who actually does the plug-ins?
Me,
Okay.
yeah. I was thinking something different, Sue. I was thinking you were talking more about on the budget side, because the board, ultimately it's the board's budget. And we could meet on a staff level and go marching down the road and think we're on the right path and doing everything that's being asked of us, only to find out that we get before the board, for the first official time, and it's not where you want us to be.
Well, you most certainly could run into that. And the reason I think you most certainly could is because I've been thinking of some things myself, and I don't know if Wayne might have, or if Cindy might have too. A different way of perhaps trying to project things a little differently than we have from a department level. So, see, the whole point was that it was the town administrator's team. And if you don't feel like there's a need for the projections,
On the revenue projection
Side,
side and the expense projection,
that's
I don't see that on the very base mechanic side.
Yep.
On the more global policy issue, because the budget is your single biggest policy initiative. On that side, I think there is definitely a role for someone to be playing. And that's where I'm probably getting confused in it, because my first budget I did, it was, granted, I came in this time of the year, and we had one that wasn't in balance, and we had one that we were getting ready to work on. It was you, the chair of the finance committee, and me. The three of us sat down on a regular basis and worked on getting through those issues. So it wasn't really, it wasn't the full finance team, it was really just a rep from.
Right, because we were trying to, because the budget was a mess. It had, $100,000 that were missing, that just kind of vanished, and,
Well, it was just a spreadsheet
And-
issue. It wasn't
But-
as.
but you were trying to figure out, where's this, I have to sign this. Sorry,
Right, I
wrong
was just
direction.
trying to get as much
But
information
I think
from
that there were
the
issues.
select
There
board
were
and the
issues
finance
then.
committee.
There were issues when you were coming in, trying to figure, where were we, how did we get there?
Right, but I
and where we
needed,
going,
I
but,
needed the benefit of a member of the board and a member of the finance committee to be able to give me that history.
okay, so I'm going to ask you, do you want a member of this board to volunteer to work with you on that piece? Or do you want to work with the whole board?
On the budget piece,
Yes.
I think a member of the board would be helpful. I think a member of the board to give guidance as we're going forward, because it's your budget. Now, I think, how that happens, whether it's kind of like as the liaison, not unlike the department
But
liaisons.
how does one board member accurately reflect what the other ones?
Because you have the goals that have been set, so those goals are meant to then be reflected in the budget. So the budget drives the goal sheet.
I think I'd almost rather have that be a board input thing, like a budget work session with you.
Okay.
That way, you're getting the benefit of
Everybody.
all of us, because I'm not going to be able to think of the things that Wayne would want or Cindy would want. I think it might be healthier and give a better overall product.
Okay.
How do you guys?
I'm fine with that, just because I need to learn how to do it. and
Yeah,
never have some
yeah.
experience.
Cindy? I mean, a
I'm-
budget work session to talk about how did the department budgets fit with our goals and with where we want things to go.
I think that can go in 15 different directions, that, because every department has a different I mean, some departments will be level funded and some departments might go up 20%. There's so many different, but it's based on what we establish as goals before we get started. Much of the budget work is wait for the cherry sheet to come in.
Right, I mean, we
You know,
did, Madam Chair.
it's not a lot.
Just today at the department head meeting, and that's later on the agenda,
Yeah.
but it's a good segue for it now. Spoke with the department heads about being mindful of what the board's goals are for the current year, and looking at each of those goals and seeing where it touches their department. So you would normally see out on the horizontal, the responsible parties and the supporting parties, determining which ones touch their budgets or their functions, and make certain that that's taken into consideration when they're setting their budget proposal that they're going to be submitting within the next 3-4 weeks.
Well, then why don't we just see how that goes?
And then
That
we're
might
going
be
to
a
have
good
the
thing
budget
is
hearings. We're
when-
going to have the budget hearings and presentations.
That's usually,
for a number of weeks.
it's usually pretty baked by that point, though.
That's, yeah.
So maybe that's a good spot, a good jumping off spot when we get the original proposals in, have a budget work session, sit with the board, just kind of give the 10,000-foot view of where things are, particularly against the goals, and get feedback from you before we start really squeezing things. Good.
Okay, is that a good spot for
I
it?
think that's lovely.
Okay. Okay, 3.3, review approved change of manager for the VFW post 6538. Is that to be, it's now to Geraldine P. Armstrong?
Just a point, you made 3.21 the discussion for the special town meeting.
Oh, I did. 3.21.
Sorry.
Discussion, setting new date for the special town meeting and approval of the warrant. Jim?
Madam Chair, in your packets, toward the end, you'll have the most recent revision to the special town meeting warrant. Specifically, what you'll note is the date, both on the first page and on the footers, and then an open spot for it to be filled in on the back page is contemplated to be December 20th. So that's a week later than was originally contemplated. We were looking at the 13th as of last week. Two reasons this has had to change. One is we've learned free cash is not yet going to be certified. It would be somewhat disingenuous for me to suggest that's the only reason or the driving reason why we're having to move it. I think the real reason is that there are two articles at the tail end of the warrant that are very important articles to the town. Both relate to recreational marijuana. And one of them is a moratorium proposed by the planning board, and the other is an actual zoning bylaw in case the moratorium article were to fail on the floor of town meeting, so the town wouldn't be left without any protection as of December 31st when our current moratorium expires. You may remember last week we had discussion about this issue in some detail with the planning board chair. It was decided to hold open a place mark for the bylaw for the regulation to be drafted by council and the chair of the planning board the very next day when council was going to be in town. Then it was to be sent in so we could put it back into the warrant, and by we I mean me. When you look at my job description, one of the things in there is that I'm responsible to create the warrant for you. So when Thursday morning came and I received an email from the chair of the planning board with the council revised and approved version of the marijuana bylaw, I copied it out of the document that was sent and I loaded it into the warrant, and then went to where the old version sat and began deleting. And I, while looking at the screen, kept deleting until I no longer saw references to marijuana, not realizing that I had gone directly into the second to the last article, which is the moratorium on marijuana. I believe, Madam Chair, you were actually sitting with me when I did it, because I didn't want you to leave until I got you to sign it. And I should have definitely looked more closely before I handed it off to you.
And shame on all of us for not having looked at it as well.
I appreciate you saying that, but that's not your job, that's mine. Mine is to make certain that it was right, and it wasn't right.
Well, I'm
And I
glad we
apologize for
caught
that.
it, and I'm glad we caught it in time.
Well, I caught it both barrels at 7:30 this morning with a phone call I received, but,
Anybody I know?
so, you know, again, first thing this morning, I got that phone call, and then I got a text from council saying that the Attorney General's office had made rulings yesterday on 3 other communities attempting to extend their moratoriums, and she had declined to authorize the extensions. So I was getting both pieces at the same time and thought, well, that's really interesting to think that we're going to repost because of the fact that it wasn't included in the warrant, only to find out that the AG is not going to approve it anyway. We don't know that that's going to be the case, but council believes it's highly likely that it's not going to be allowed. So
Which part is not going to be allowed?
the moratorium extension.
Oh,
She ruled yesterday on the 3 most recent communities and said no. To extend the
oh, good, so I'm
moratorium.
glad that we have put a bylaw on that.
So we then needed to pick a next date, because obviously we have to act on the moratorium on or before the end of the calendar year, December 31st. Looked first at going out to the 18th, and that wasn't good for the town moderator, and one member of the board wasn't able to make it. We then looked at moving it out the 2 extra days, and we did find that everybody that needs to be there from an official perspective is able to be there on the 20th. So this is,
That's okay for you, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm just not happy about the whole thing.
I know.
Well, I have to be here Monday night also for the last day to register to vote. Again, we were here last night, which, it's irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's, what can I say?
Okay, but you can make it the 20th,
I'll
right?
be here. Yep.
Okay.
so you'll see on the last 2 articles that the moratorium is in place, and the council-approved version submitted by the chair of the planning board for the actual bylaw is also in place. So if it meets the board's approval, a vote to do 2 things. One would be to cancel the currently posted special town meeting that is called for December 13th, 2018. And second to that, to call the special town meeting for December 20th, 2018 at 7 PM in the
Memorial Hall.
Memorial Hall, thank you, 272 Main Street.
You all set?
I move that the board cancel the special town meeting scheduled for December 13th, 2018 in Memorial Hall.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Is that the wording that you're looking for?
Mhm.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move the board repost the special town meeting warrant as corrected to reflect the, what to say, reflect,
Just for December 20th, 2018.
for December 20th, 2018 at 7 o'clock in Memorial Hall, 272 Main Street.
Second.
Moved and seconded. That's all you need? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. So that's all set. I wonder if I could ask, could we send out an email blast to the folks that are on that list at least and let them
Absolutely.
know that that has been changed?
And what you'll see is the existing postings will remain up and will have canceled emblazoned across them, and directly next to them will be the new posted warrant.
Okay, just any place that we can communicate the change as well,
Absolutely.
please? Okay. And the next thing that we had, we missed 320, my other addition, remove signed letter of support for the Council on Aging. Where is that one?
have that one.
Oh, I have it here. No, that's the public hearing.
The one I had you put in.
No, I didn't see it.
It's the one that Mike was down to see.
That's the letter of support.
That is?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Want to do something about that?
Okay.
Throw something.
That sounded good.
You just took a stab at it, wasn't really sure.
Oh, found it.
Yes, found it, sorry. Do I need to read it?
Just a little background. We received a writing from the Council on Aging asking for the board's consideration in authoring a letter of support for the opportunity to have transportation scheduled for weekends for our seniors. And you'll note that the council submitted a letter. You should have seen a copy of that on the email that came through. And this is just a very brief attempt today at using some of the language that they provided in the packet to offer the board's endorsement of the concept.
How's it gonna work?
I'm not certain that that's fully fleshed out yet. It's a grant application that's getting put in, but they're talking about a combination of existing vehicles in multiple communities and, in some cases, the use of livery service, but all coming in through the LRTA.
So will it cost the town anything?
There may be an assessment eventually, but right now they're seeking a grant opportunity.
That's interesting. I'm just thinking, wondering if the administration of this is going to be an addition.
Administration.
Well,
It's LRTA.
but who's going to arrange, where are the customers, if you will, that need a ride, going to sign up for needing a ride?
Right.
They typically do that through the senior center.
Right. I know that the chair of the council authored a letter, and I believe in it she indicated what the current process is
Oh, okay.
for securing transportation, where the location is that people are picked and dropped, and how that works, and that this would dovetail with that.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move the board sign the letter of support for the Council on Aging.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Sorry.
Here you go. Cindy.
Oh.
Thank you. Okay. Now, 3.3, review approved change of manager for VFW. Do you have a motion?
I move the board approve the change of manager for the VFW Post 6538 for Geraldine P. Armstrong.
Second.
So it should be two Geraldine, right?
Yes.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.4, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for wine and malt retail package store liquor license for Girish Patel, DBA Old Brick Store. Wayne?
I move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for the wine and malt retail package store liquor license 00011PK1286 for Girish Patel, DBA Old Brick Store, 440 Main Street, Townsend, Mass.
And I have to recuse myself from this one.
Oh, yeah. All those in favor?
Yeah, second.
Oh, second, yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So So how would you, do you want to just save all these and do them all at once, or do you want me to start passing them? What's better for you?
Let's just read them all, I think.
And then sign them all together?
Okay.
Just get things going.
3.5, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for all alcoholic restaurant package store liquor license for Rajitaben Patel, Townsend Package Store.
I move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for the all-alcohol restaurant package store liquor license 0009 PK1286 for Ranjitaben Patel, Townsend Package Store, 224 Main Street, Townsend, Mass.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.6, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license for Chung Wai Yu Seasons Palace, number 3, Inc., DBA Yee's Village.
I move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcohol restaurant liquor license for 00014 RS1286 for Chung Wei Yu Seasons Palace, number 3, Inc., DBA Yee's Village, 350 Main Street, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon a valid certification of inspection.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. 3.7, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license for Albert S. Mariano Jr., Bailey's Bar and Grill, LLC.
Move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license 00018 RS1286 for Albert S. Mariano Jr., Bailey's Bar and Grill, LLC, 18 Main Street, Unit 109, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon a valid certificate of inspection.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.8, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license for Albert S. Mariano Jr. for 40 Scales Lane, Townsend.
Move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license 00020 RS1286 for Albert S. Mariano Jr., 40 Scales Lane, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon a valid certificate of inspection.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. 3.9, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license for Robert Dickout, DBA Townsend House Restaurant.
Move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic restaurant liquor license 0001 RS1286 for Robert Dickout, DBA Townsend House Restaurant, 2 Depot Street, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon a valid certificate of inspection.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.10, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic package store liquor license for Chankethia Corporation, DBA Wine Nook.
Move the board approve and sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic package store liquor license 00010 PK1286 for Chankethia Corporation, DBA The Wine Nook, 18 Main Street, Townsend, Mass.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.11, review, approve, sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic club license for Terry Roy VFW Post 6538. I have a question. Does that name need to change?
We can't change it until the ABCC and the state has approved the new manager.
The new manager?
Because the state will do a background check and send it to DOR, so it wouldn't be
For
any
now-
cost to, yeah, so
for
it'll
now
come
it's
back
this
before
one.
you with a new manager's name.
Okay.
I move the board approves to sign the 2019 renewal for an all-alcoholic club license 0005 CL1286 for Terry Roy VFW Post 6538 of the US 491A Main Street, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon a valid certificate of inspection.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 312, review, approve, sign the following 2019 common Vittler renewal license applications as listed.
I move the board approve and sign the following 2019 common Vittler renewal license applications as listed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 313, review, approve, sign the following 2019 entertainment renewal license applications as listed.
I move the board approve and sign the following 2019 entertainment renewal license application as listed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 314, review, approve the following 2019 Sunday entertainment renewal license applications as listed.
I move the board approve the following 2019 Sunday entertainment renewal license applications as listed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 315, review, approve, sign a 2019 renewal for a Class 1 license application for Thomas J. Cleary, Townsend Sales and Service, DBA Townsend, that should be Ford.
Sorry. I move the board approve and sign
Stay at
the
the golf course.
2019 renewal for Class 1 license application for Thomas J. Cleary, Townsend Sales and Service, DBA Townsend Ford, 340 Main Street, Townsend, Mass. I may have put a golf ball or two there myself.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 316, review, approve, sign a 2019 renewal for a Class 2 license application for Roy D. Shepherd, Inc., DBA Shepherd Sales and Service.
Can I request that you, when you make the motion, that you say contingent upon the necessary bond being filed with the treasurer's office?
For all of these?
For only Class 2s.
For just Class 2s, yeah.
I move the board approve and sign a 2019 renewal for a Class 2 license application for Roy D. Shepherd, Inc., DBA Shepherd Sales and Service, 55 Main Street, Townsend, Mass., contingent upon
The filing
the filing of
Bond
bond
with the treasurer's
with the
office.
treasurer's office. Thank you.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 317, do you need that for this one as well, Carolyn?
It's a Class 3.
Class 3, so that's fine.
That's fine. I move the board approve and sign a 2019 renewal for a Class 3 license application for Roy D. Shepherd, Inc., DBA Joe's Auto Body, 55 Main Street, Townsend, Mass.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 318, review, approve the 2019 holiday schedule.
I move the board approve and sign the 2019 holiday schedule.
I can't find it.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay.
I have a question about
Do I
that.
have a second?
Can I just look at it?
Sure.
Is it the same as always?
Do you want to second it, though?
Second.
Discussion?
It doesn't relate necessarily to this, but it does with the death of George Bush. I think tomorrow's the National Day of Mourning, and I know the post office is closed with the town
It's a
office. is
federal.
closed.
Yeah, it's
thing.
federally done. But I would imagine the board, as the executive, could make that call. I've not experienced it on the local level where it's been done.
Just a question.
Yeah,
You would have heard from the governor's office, I'm sure.
yeah.
Is the federal government closed?
Yes.
Yes.
Completely, okay. I heard a couple things, but I didn't know, was it too?
No, I think that's optional, but the definitely including the post office.
Yeah, that's the complaint I was hearing
You know,
about from people today, that there's no.
Yeah,
way.
it's a federal
Okay.
day off, but I didn't hear it filter down.
Okay.
Governor's office would have said,
Yeah.
just the way they do put all the flags
Flags
to
down. Yep.
just
Okay,
half-mast.
just wanted to check, so.
So any other questions
No,
on that?
That's it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 319, authorize the Highway Department to install heart-safe community signs on both ends of Route 119 and 13 contingent upon permission from Mass DOT.
I move the board authorize the highway department install heart-safe community signs at both ends of Route 119 and 13 contingent upon permission from Mass DOT.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
Nope.
Madam Chair, before you do call the vote, just a note of thanks to Captain Marty Scott from the fire department. He's the one that took the lead on this. It's not an easy designation to get. There's quite a bit of work to do, and Marty's dedicated a lot of time to getting it done, so just kudos to Marty.
Well, thanks
Thank
from
you.
the board then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 320, remove. Approve signed letter of support for an application on behalf of the Council on Aging to the Lowell Transit Authority.
That's the one
I think
we
we
did.
That's the one we did.
Yep.
But the number got, okay. Discussions, set new date for the special town meeting and approve and sign the warrants. We did that.
Just not signed yet, have you? Yeah,
I'll
okay.
sign it.
Thank you.
Appointments of officials, personnel. For one, appoint Laura Schifrin to the Town Properties Committee as the Planning Board representative, effective December 4th, 2018.
I move the board appoint Laura Schifrin, to the Town Properties Committee as the planning board representative, effective December 4th, 2018 to February 28th, 2019.
Second, and I have a question.
I accept your second. What's your question?
Why so short?
Because right now, the bylaw calls for reappointments in getting it 1st of March.
Oh,
That's one of the things that we're looking to change at town meeting is
okay,
put it concurrent with the other appointments.
all right.
Other questions?
Nope.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-1, Town Administrator updates and reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very briefly, if you take the second of the listed items and put it on top, department head meeting update, each of the things beneath will fall under that. We talked a little bit earlier about the goals and objectives and the fact that it's been conveyed to the departments to make certain that they're cognizant of what the board's goals and objectives are as they put their budgets together for fiscal '20. So we did spend a little bit of time talking about that earlier in the meeting. Community Compact Forum, there's been, as was also reported at the department head meeting today, the chair has been very active in dealing with the issue of the Community Compact and bringing some information back to town. I don't know, Madam Chair, if you want to speak to it yourself or if you'd like me to.
No,
keep
sure,
it-
I'll say a little bit about it. It started with a conversation with the Lieutenant Governor, actually, at a meeting that I attended. And when I was talking to her about our lack of an HR department, if you will, she said, well, why don't you sign up for, do a community compact, sign up for that. Maybe we can get you some help and get somebody to organize stuff and do your personnel policies. And I mean, she was a Board of Selectmen member, so she knows the language, that's for sure. And it started from there, and her aide connected me with Sean Cronin, from the DOR, who I asked you to work with, and you can take it from there.
Excellent. I think much to Deputy Commissioner Cronin's credit, he was communicating back and forth with me Friday night on this, so he was on task to try to get this thing nailed down. So the plan that was laid out by Chairwoman Lucio was to hold a forum here in Townsend where Deputy Commissioner Cronin and his staff would come out and make a presentation on the compact generally, and then specifically the types of programs that are available underneath each compact component, which they don't operate everything in every year cycle. They go There will be IT and regional for 1 year, and beneath that, there's a drop-down menu of a number of different things you can apply for. So they'll come out and they'll make a presentation on what the compact is generally, and then specifically the types of things you can ask for, what the schedule is, what the requirements are, and instead of it just being local to Townsend, to invite not just, obviously be hosted by the select board, have all the department heads in attendance, so that message went out at the department head meeting today. Have all the department heads in attendance, and then to further to invite representatives from the towns of Ashby, Pepperell, and Lunenburg as our abutting communities to come as our guests that night, to also get that information from Deputy Commissioner Cronin.
And our other elected boards
And
as well.
lastly, to have our state rep, state senator,
good.
two state reps, given that Lunenburg has a different rep. So we'd have 2 state reps and state senator
You're
invited.
different. Well, Ashby has a different state senator, Pepperell has a
True,
different
too.
state senator.
That's true, too. So we'll have a
We all have our own.
a heavy delegation. And
I mean, they certainly don't have to come,
Sure.
but, you know.
And I did not specify as clearly, you chimed in with elected boards and commissions as well, so not
Right.
just department heads. So we're looking at the date of January 15th, which is a Tuesday, at 6 PM in the meeting hall, over in between the library and the Council on Aging. And we did confirm that date is available for the room, so Stacy booked us in the room, and it'll be for the whole room. We'll work on the logistics over the next, couple of 3 weeks in terms of how it'll be set up and refreshments and the like, but it'll be, I think, an interesting meeting to have people that haven't been exposed to it in the past, exposed to what the compact is about and the benefits that are available to us.
I think one of the reasons that I get excited about hearing about it, I heard little bits of it at one of the meetings that I went to, but I don't know if the state really realizes how the turnover on our local boards sometimes means that they don't have the information.
Right.
Or what you have isn't the same as what your predecessors might have been exposed to. So, I know I missed it the last time. Wayne didn't hear it firsthand, Cindy did. But then I started thinking about the other boards in town, the boards and committees, Council on Aging. There's so much that the state's offering for assistance. It's worth listening to.
Yeah, and to your point, I think it was a full 3 years ago now that we were designated, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, in fact, all the surrounding towns have signed on to community compacts too. They have their letters, so.
So were we number 13 or 17 statewide?
17, I think, in the
17
state.
statewide, so
Yeah.
pretty
But I
good
don't
stuff.
want to lose that momentum.
Sure.
And I think as boards change, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So let's keep it alive while we have the interest of the state for helping out the little cities and towns,
Absolutely. I was also asked to speak about the issue of appointment to multiple boards or committees. A concern was raised a week ago, I guess, on this issue, and it was specifically tied to the person who had the complaint or the concerns, understanding of Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 4A. And when you take that provision of the law, and it's written as legislation generally is, in multiple overlapping tiers for state, county, or district and local application. If you strip the state and the county and the district away and just read it as it relates to towns, that law would read, "A town board may, if authorized by vote of the town at an annual town meeting, appoint any member thereof to another town office or position. The salary of such appointee shall be fixed by vote of the town, notwithstanding the provisions of Section 108. So there was a concern raised that we have a gentleman that is serving in an elected capacity here in town and also serving in an appointed capacity on another board. And did this law prohibit that type of an appointment and election? Which it does not. What this says is, when you break it down into general terminology, is can a board of selectmen or a board of assessors appoint one of their own to another board or committee? And what this says is, particularly if it's being paid, not without the approval of a town meeting. So, in case I wasn't reading this correctly, after talking with the chair, I did reach out to council, have council opine as well, and confirmed this understanding. So, if any of you have received that concern or complaint from the citizen, if you haven't had the chance to touch base again with that person, this would be the response that comes back from council, that there is nothing inappropriate, particularly as relates to 41-4A, with the gentleman serving in both an elected capacity on one board and an appointed capacity on another.
And isn't the reason for that having to do with, an ethics kind of thing?
I'm sure there are.
Because, if you're getting paid for two positions, you can only take one of those paychecks, right?
Right. This is there may be a touch of that in this, but I think this is also, if I'm a seated member of a board and I work out with my fellow board members to appoint me to that paying job, there should be some other level of approval
okay,
that's required for that.
Job,
Right.
yeah, right.
So what they're
Not
saying.
many jobs around here are paying.
But think about it, if this Board of Selectmen, were to consider appointing one of itself to the town administrator position, or if the Board of Assessors to the assessor's position, or something along those lines, this is just kind of a check against that type of thing without putting it, under the bright light of a town meeting vote.
But the question that we had gotten didn't have to do with a paid position.
No,
being
both of them are
appointed.
unpaid positions that
Right.
were referenced in the
Right.
letter of concern.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Jim,
Yes.
you didn't get any kind of update, so to speak, from the water department for the bridge?
Nothing of substance enough to be able to speak to tonight, no.
Okay. I'm just wondering how, I would like to see that just gets done, maybe using our attorney, just to make sure that everybody knows what the concerns are. I want to make sure that we have what we need to protect the town from, or water department, from costs that we maybe shouldn't have to have. I want to make sure that all of that stuff got handled, and I guess you said nothing has really changed.
Yeah, well, there are some things that have changed, but nothing that I feel comfortable reporting on at this point. Council has been involved to date, as I reported at the last meeting. I did have a conference call with Superintendent Rayfuse, Town Council Costa, and myself on the matter. We've not looped back in as a group since then, so I think your point is well taken, to have council tie back in.
Let
and
him take the
I can
lead, I
step back.
think. That's how I feel anyway. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but
It's fine with me.
make sense? Okay.
Excellent, okay.
All right.
Before we leave there, I don't want there to be the perception that the contractor who has been doing some work is in any way interested in avoiding any responsibility or any of his obligations. That my understanding is quite the opposite. He's been very willing to do whatever he should and do. This is more a process issue for us on the government side of the house.
Yeah, it's just tying up the documentation. That's what I'm concerned about.
Thank you.
And to fix the contract too, so that everybody gets paid.
Correct.
Okay. Board of Selectmen's announcements, updates, and reports. Wayne?
I attended the, get it wrong again. What's the other committee I'm on? Capital planning.
Capital planning.
I have another word in my head every time I try to say it, and I want to say something else. Committee meeting last night for the first time, and I'm putting it out there, we're looking for volunteers to join that said committee.
How many members are there now? 4?
There was 1, 2, 4 of us, one of which is leaving, one of which is going to be very busy in the spring because she's an accountant. So I believe you said there was a total of 7 spots.
7, right, Carolyn?
According to the, so I know the moderator's asking for volunteers to join the committee.
Okay, so anybody out there that's good at budget planning, really, and capital things, the big stuff?
Are you gonna have the capital plan done for the town meeting?
I believe it's already been completed. The finance committee has to do their,
Oh, the special.
We have a special town meeting coming up, that you guys have to approve all the
There were
capital.
some revisions.
We had
The
like
revisions, yeah.
4 or 5 things that
Did
had to
those
be.
get voted on last
the
night?
revision that we voted on last night was for the highway department. That was the only one.
The one for the fire chief
The
had
fire
already been,
department?
had already been voted by the
Oh.
committee.
Oh, okay.
Those are the only two, I think, that had
That was the only ones that were hanging out there.
capital implications, I believe.
Because I came and got one of those.
There's a question about whether the water department article
Oh, water
needed
department
to
has to
be
be.
revised upward. Superintendent Rayfuse, you remember, sent a text message during our last meeting and indicated that it had been previously approved for the water main extension project. They're seeking an additional $115,000 because bids came in higher than
So
they
does
had.
that need a revision?
It appears that it would be the same. I can't touch the article because it was submitted by an elected board, so I can't add that same language that says contingent upon being
So,
approved by the capital committee.
so maybe you could, yes?
So the good news is that you can always appropriate the money. The accountant's just not going to allow them to spend it until it's been authorized from capital. So it's not
So they can make a
necessarily
vote
illegal
after.
for them. If they do, otherwise the money just sits there and gets returned the next year. Because she can't pay the bill without
Okay.
it being on the amended plan.
So when is your next meeting of,
We tentatively scheduled it for the second week in January.
Mr. Rayfuse has to sort of initiate that contact with you. to ask him.
Yes.
so, and you can't touch the,
I can't change a warrant article that comes in from an
okay,
elected board.
but can we have Adam look at it and say how it might be otherwise written and send
Yeah,
that off to Paul?
Yeah, it'll be a simple amendment to just add that phrase,
Okay.
contingent upon approval of the revised capital plan.
Okay.
Okay. And I have nothing.
Only other thing I
Oh.
wanted to say was that whoever organized the tree lighting did a spectacular job this year.
It looks beautiful, too. Cindy, did you have anything?
I don't have anything.
And we dealt with any correspondence that we had gotten, right?
The only one we didn't was the request from I think it was the finance committee for the one that we had.
Oh, yeah, they want to change the amount. Here I was trying to make things simple.
That's a simple amendment on the floor as well.
Okay.
Amendment down is always allowable.
Okay. That's all I got, sorry.
It's just, for me, somebody that I worked with said, when you're doing finance stuff, it's kind of like high level. It's different than bookkeeping.
Sure.
Bookkeeping is to the penny, but, so, anyway, doesn't matter. I don't have anything, we don't have any events, so that takes care of 5.2. Board correspondence, we have none. Review approved meeting minutes from October 23rd, 2018.
I move the board approve the meeting minutes from October 23rd, 2018.
Second?
Moved and seconded, any changes, discussion?
I did not see any.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Review and sign payroll and bills payable warrant.
Move the board review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position or litigating position, and the chair so declares, which she does, in reference to clerical, fire supervisors, and police union. Could I get a motion?
Move the board move into executive session pursuant to General Law C-30A S 21A3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position or litigating position, and the chair so declares, reference clerical, fire supervisors, and police union.
And that we will
And we will not return.
adjourn from executive session? That we will be adjourning from executive session?
And we will be adjourning the meeting from executive
Second
session.
that.
Moved and seconded. Could I get a roll call, please?
Wayne Miller, yes?
Cindy King, yes?
Sir Lucio, yes.